Houston Mayor Bill White came aboard and visited with us at the Laredo Country Club and told us why he thinks he would make a fine United States Senator, replacing Kay Bailey Hutchison when and if she resigns her post as senior U.S. Senator. Mayor White, why is it you intend to run in the special election to hopefully become the next United States Senator?
I'll tell you what, our country is facing unprecedented challenges, and Texas needs a voice, a strong voice with a new leadership in D.C. Somebody will have an influence with the president and the new leadership in Congress, and I think I can do that.
Representing what party?
Well, I'll be a Democrat, but I want to tell you this. I have strong support from independents and Republicans within Houston. You know, I served in the Clinton administration. I was chairman of the Democratic Party. I'm proud of that. But we need people here who can bring people together to get things done. Most folks think that, and that's what I've been able to accomplish in Houston.
John Sharp tells us that he thinks that the state of Texas needs one Republican senator and one Democrat senator. Do you agree?
Well, it needs the right senator, but we've always done better as a state when we've had some balance. And certainly that's true now when we have the presidency and both houses of Congress in the Democratic hands. I'm not saying there ought to always be a quota, but I'll tell you this. I've worked as a chief operating officer of a cabinet department. I'll be the only member of the Senate who's run one of the 10 biggest cities in the United States. I have good business experience, and I grew up in the civil rights movement, organizing the west side of San Antonio with names that are now legends. I think I can represent our state well. I was just in the White House, and the president and the vice president listen to what I say because they know that I share the values of trying to move our whole country forward, and that's important for us now in Texas.
Tell me about public service, and where does that speak to you?
Well, for me, it starts with my parents. My parents taught in the public schools for over 70 years. My dad,
where?
In San Antonio. My dad's a disabled vet. They were people who were centered on family and faith. I've taught in my Sunday school class for years. I think that politicians and other, for that matter, you'd be a business leader or a principal or a police captain, should be servant leaders. That's my type of style. I'm not the razzle-dazzle self-promoter, the person who's always running for something because they feel that they have to have an office to be somebody. I've been successful and blessed in life in many ways. I just want to help people and serve.
How would your experience for 5 years, having been the CEO of the state's largest city, transfer into being a good servant at the United States Senate if elected?
Well, you know, the city of Houston has people from all over the state who've come there. I came from San Antonio. Most of us have come from somewhere else. And the city itself is bigger than 16 states. It has the strongest, what's called strong mayor form of government in the country, which means that the mayor has more executive and legislative authority than other mayors. And we've run the city well. I'll just encourage people to call people in Houston to ask them how they think that I've done. I've been reelected with margins of averaged 88%, which is the highest percentage of mayors in any of the top big cities for well over 20 years in our country. And so I think that tells you something about the kind of leadership I could provide.
How would you stack up against John Sharp, who has already appeared on the program, assuming there's a special election? Spoilers will come out of the woodworks and won over somewhat better candidates. Your comparison to candidate Sharp and also to these other who could be spoilers, perhaps?
Well, you know, I think that'll be up to the voters to decide in part. I'll tell you this, that I've won every election that I've run in, that I have support from every neighborhood in the city, that I'll be one of the few senators that has had business experience. I'll be the only senator who's been in the energy business, the only senator who's run a top 10 city, the only senator that's ever been a chief operating officer of a cabinet department, the only senator that has had great experience in international diplomacy before going into the Senate. That's my background. I've always fought for social justice, and then people are going to have to decide whether they want those qualities or they want some other qualities. You know, I just hope that people understand right now we have a unique time in our country. The politics of fear and division are on retreat. The politics of competence, just getting things done, of hope, is on the rise. I want to be one of those people who can represent this whole state and this whole community. You saw it during the leadership provided for this state during Hurricane Ike and in responding to the needs of Hurricane Katrina. I think that I'll be a senator that people can be proud of, and I think that's important.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What do you say about Bill White?
Bill White's one of those guys that can bring people together on both sides of the aisle.
Have to be if you're going to be the CEO and mayor of the biggest city in Texas.
Definitely. And I see that as a major asset in Bill White. Additionally, we saw him really shine on this the Katrina incident, where he, as a mayor, was able to assist our fellow states, our neighboring states, on their problem. But I think that Bill White's one of these guys that can actually bring all types of people to the table to resolve a problem. Just look at the solutions, and he's got leadership skills that I think we desperately need in D.C. or Texas.
Former State Representative Jim Solis, 15 years in the Texas Legislature, District 38. Thank you for coming and being with us.
Thank you, Ron.
We hope to have you on our program in future telecasts as they come along. Thank you for joining us here on the program. Till next time, adios.